Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome to Red Storm Chasers. I'm Vincent here with Craig, Tim, and Nick. On this episode, we'll look back at the big Butler victory. We'll take a look ahead to our Creighton and DePaul matchups for the week. We have an interview with Matt Kirschenheiter of the St. John's dance team. And we have a new segment featuring Marcus Hatten. All right, guys, we're going to start the show a little different this week. Instead of going around, changing times. Instead of going around and talking about what we're doing this weekend, or what we did this weekend, we're instead going to talk about our favorite movie snack. When you go to the movie theater, what is your favorite snack? And here's the catch. If somebody else claims yours, you have to pick another one.
Bunch of Crunch.
Oh, wow. Tim hopped in
Out
right
of the
away.
gate. That was quick. I
Out of the
wasn't
gate.
even ready for that.
Right, I didn't even have
Jumped
time
in.
to
Bunch of
think
Crunch.
about
Great
it.
choice. I love Bunch of Crunch. Bunch of Crunch is
Bunch of Crunch is very good.
spectacular.
It's a very specific movie.
It's the only time I eat that.
Right.
Well, it's kind of hard to find other places. You don't really tend to find Bunch of Crunch that
That
often.
and a Crunch Bar. Like I feel like the Crunch Bar went extinct at like 06.
And Bunch of Crunch is way better than a Crunch Bar.
Oh yeah.
Way better than a Crunch Bar.
That's definitely true.
I'm gonna go with a Goober. I like Goobers.
Goobers. Wow,
are sick.
that's a very,
Okay.
very movie.
And it's consistent too.
Very movie specific snack. Also, you can't really find that other places.
Yeah.
Although at Walgreens, you can get Bunch of Crunch and Goobers. You can get 4 for $1.
I can tell you my number two.
Or
My
no, you
number,
get- yeah,
a
4 for
close
$1.
number two to me is the chocolate covered cookie doughs.
You know what? I was gonna bring those up. I didn't want to put them at number one.
Yeah, they're my number two.
I don't really like them. I like cookie dough.
Really?
I love cookie dough. The chocolate covered cookie dough, it's too artificial. I want the cookie
no.
dough to be better, real cookie dough. Like make it with the egg. I don't care. I'll risk salmonella. but it's kind of too fake. The
It is
chocolate
fake.
covered
I
one.
know what you're
It is
saying.
fake, but
I know what I'm
it's
getting myself
delicious.
into.
So far, Tim's got it but the Goobers are a good pick.
I'm gonna
Bunch of Crunch and
my
Goober.
my pick is gonna be the classic. You gotta
It can't be popcorn. It's got to be something else.
Why can't it be popcorn?
Because
That's
popcorn
too
is
simple. That's
no,
because it's too perfect.
Popcorn
You're
is-
being basic.
it's
First of all-
everyone's number one. It can't be your pick because that is the number one movie snack.
that's ridiculous.
You have to pick something else.
No, that's ridiculous.
You can't pick popcorn because that is the number one movie snack.
Of course, it's the number one movie snack. Is why I want to pick it.
No, that just means you're lazy.
You know
You
what's
can't
really,
come up with anything
you know
else.
what's really
Fine,
disappointing?
fine.
You're doing the straw trick with the butter, and all of a sudden it doesn't connect right, and it starts burning your fingertips instead. That shit sucks.
That is funny.
So, all right.
Good move with the
so-
butter though. You stick the straw and you get the butter at the
So
bottom of
I'm
the
gonna-
popcorn. That's a good move.
So, I'm gonna go outside of candy. So this is maybe
Doesn't
more,
have to be candy.
but it'll be more specific because like they might have this at every movie theater. This might be
I mean,
more...
they have most at most.
Craig's gonna
but-
go with a flatbread pizza.
Yeah, I mean, all right. No, that's a little aggressive.
I was
okay?
gonna go with the mac and cheese bites at AMC.
That's
All right,
valid.
that's
valid.
fine. That's fine.
It's a snack.
They
It's
are.
a snack.
They
It's a
are.
movie snack.
They are delicious.
You're talking about the dine-in though. That's normally at the.
That's not.
Oh no, it's at. You're right. It's at both. It's
Not
at
on
both.
dining.
That's right.
You can go there on the side and you pick it up on the side.
I like the pretzel bites. You ever get the pretzel bites there at the movie theaters? They have that at all
That's
movie
good.
theaters. Those are good ones too.
Yeah.
What's yours, Vincent?
Mine would. Tim stole mine right out the gate. Bunch of Crunch
Wow.
was a great one.
Wow.
Because that is my go-to movie. I will buy those. I buy popcorn and Bunch of Crunch, and I eat them kind of in tandem. But Reese's Pieces, mainly because Reese's Pieces are my second favorite candy
Forgot about Reese's
ever.
Pieces.
So Reese's Pieces for me is a great, just because mainly it's my second favorite candy. Anyway,
Also-
outside of the movie theaters.
Also, though, when you're at a movie theater, you gotta get one of the ices. I gotta get that blue raspberry icy.
Nah,
That's
see,
like iconic.
You know what the problem with me for blue ices
they're-
are? Is I've had slush puppies and they're just better.
they're better.
So the
That is
problem,
very
They
fair.
are
the problem
better.
for me is that
But
every
they're
time I taste
different,
the
though.
icy, they are
Like,
different.
slush
No,
puppy and those ices are a little
yeah, but the
different.
ices just don't taste right to me, and that's me about me having.
That's
slush
part of the
puppies,
beauty
like,
of them.
nah,
No,
that's just- that's for me,
they're
that's-
good. I like the AC. I don't. See, I'm not. Give me a Coke. Just give me a Coke for a movie. Keep it simple. That's where I'm at. The ices are good though. I prefer just a regular.
I gotta
regular
say,
beverage.
at the AMC's where they have the dine-ins, everything, you can get liquor. They gotta start introducing the slushies with liquor in it.
Wow, that would be good. That's
that
a
would be next level.
AMC if you're listening. Check that out. The whatchamacallit, actually the milkshakes at the dine-in theaters are really good.
They are.
Yes.
They have the cookies and cream with like it comes with like a giant Oreo, which is really good. Or they even have the chocolate one that comes with a brownie and there's like a layer of fudge in the middle. I mean, like it's like 1,000,000 calories, but it's
Yeah.
fantastic. I mean, you don't purchase that thinking like, it's gonna be a light lunch
Right,
like
yeah.
that. You go and
not
you're
your
like,
healthy
I
option.
want a milkshake, and that thing is like a loaded milkshake. They're good though.
What's
They're
the
really
one?
good.
What's the place in New York? Was it Black Tap Tavern?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Black
it's
Tap.
black
Yeah,
Tap.
yeah,
I've been there.
They had it
The
in Vegas.
alcoholic slush, milkshakes.
Yeah, they had it in Vegas, and I had the I think it was the peanut butter one. It was insane.
Yeah.
Someone had the
I
birthday
think
cake
they-
one, which was
I had
literally a
Oreo.
piece of cake on
I think
it.
they
Yeah, I
added
had
a
Oreo
black
and I had a
tap
huge
to
Oreo.
Yankee Stadium, if I'm not
Really?
mistaken. I think they did. One of the stadiums in New York now has a black tap. I know it.
Oh, really?
I
they make really good burgers too.
I
Or
remember
pretty
that
good
seeing
burgers.
that.
Blacked out?
Yeah.
Interesting.
If I'm thinking of the correct place.
Oh, that's
which
got
I'm
that's
pretty
got
sure
to
I am.
suck. Just trying to drink it, all of a sudden, foul ball comes, splash.
I think it's a reduced. I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's as like the same thing. Like, I don't think it's necessarily like as big a piece of cake or whatever. I think it's more of a like reasonable size for a stadium. But one of the stadiums definitely. Maybe it's not New York, but I think it was in New York. One of them added the thing. All right. Well, a little different start. Good talk about some food, different snacks, and let's head back into St. John's.
Now I want Bunch Crunch.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Milkshake.
Stop on the way home. Get a
Milkshake.
milkshake.
Oof.
Ooh, Surreal Creamery. Me and Robin are gonna go tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah, I've been dying to go to Surreal Creamery. For those who don't know, there's not a lot of locations there in New York. There happens to be one in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and there's this ice cream place that again has these like crazy milkshakes, kind of really crazy ice cream is their thing, and I love it. Me and my wife love it. I haven't been there in a while. So
What's the one
we're
that's
going. It's our
blue?
anniversary next week, so
There's one that's
it's
blue.
cookie monster.
Yeah, Cookie
Cookie
Monster.
monster. It's cookie and cream, but blue.
Yeah.
That's what it's
Oh,
on.
it's
Yeah.
so good.
Made for Nick Coughlin.
Absolutely.
100%.
Nicholas loves blue.
Nicholas.
Anything,
Wow.
though.
Nicholas,
That's sweet.
because
Use his government name.
I use your government
right.
name because you love. First of all,
Blueberry
I
juice.
saw Wawa has blueberry cobbler drinks right now, which I'm sure you've had like 8 of them. If you haven't, you're gonna hit up
I have
Wawa
not,
tomorrow.
yeah.
I'm actually very tempted to try one.
Oh, I'll let you know.
McDonald's has a blueberry pie, like the sort of like the mango pies from Jollibee,
Jollibee, the peach mango
but
one?
it's blueberry.
Really?
I saw it yesterday on the menu.
Wow. I
Yeah.
gotta get one of those. I had a blueberry pie last night at the Rio Diner.
You got to get the you got to get the blueberry cobbler drink. I assume it's
Yeah.
right up your thing. I mean, you can get coffee. You can get like a
Yeah.
like a
I usually get the
frozen-
blueberry. They have blueberry coffee. And they don't usually have it.
You
there
can get a
often.
blueberry cobbler like a. It's not like it's a frappuccino, but like basically a frappuccino. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's from Wawa. Yeah, those are you. I'm sure you'll be loving it.
Oh, definitely. Now I gotta go over there.
Just
after
love
this.
blueberry.
The
What a
Wawa
weirdo.
flavor coffees are really good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Delicious.
Wawa does a great
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
I've got yes. You know what? You told Craig. You told me you had the caramel one.
The caramel one's
I had the
amazing.
Oreo one yesterday. Oh man, it was so good.
Oh,
That
was like the-
was it. Drinking it. Oh, it was so good.
It's like the mocha, right? Whatever. They have a mocha
Yeah.
one.
They have a
too?
mocha one too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. I had the mocha one.
I've had the mint one before, but I had just Oreo and I got extra flavor, so extra Oreo. Oh,
Yeah.
just spectacular.
Also nice when you're driving through Jersey, someone sees you with Wawa, they look and you go, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, you know.
Instead of Starbucks, where they go, yeah, whatever.
I know I saw somebody one time at our office, back when I worked in the office, was like, I don't really get Wawa. You're buying food at a gas station. I almost lost it. Like I was almost like, you don't understand. Now listen, like their sandwiches are fine. I'm not a huge fan of the sandwiches.
No, their sandwiches are good.
Their sandwiches
They
are
make
good.
good sandwiches.
They're
Yeah.
solid. They're solid subs.
Yeah.
But don't be disrespecting Wawa. Okay, keep the name out your mouth if you don't know what you're talking about.
It's not sheets.
It's definitely not Sheets.
Yeah, it doesn't
Sheets
need the
is
shits.
trash. Yeah, exactly. Sheets is just trash. If you don't know what Sheets is a gas station that serves food. Except unlike Wawa, that is a food store that also happens to have to be a gas station, which only sells like subs and soups and things that you would typically see at like a lunch place. Sheets sells everything. You can get wings, you can get hot dogs, you can get what else can you get?
Mozz
Pizza,
sticks.
mozzarella
Anything,
sticks.
yeah.
Which-
Probably sushi.
which I'm
And
also
we got
pretty
all
sure,
kinds of bad stuff.
We
which
got all-
is
it was
definitely
terrible.
why we got the shits from Sheets.
Of course, of course.
Because
We
they
ate-
we went free reign. We were drinking all night,
It was a mistake.
and
We
just-
ordered a lot of garbage, and you know what? Garbage creates garbage, and that's what
we
happened.
paid for that.
We
Yeah.
paid for it. We paid for it in the end. All right, let's get back into some basketball now.
One eternity later.
We're getting into some St. John's here. Big win against Butler on
Huge win.
Friday, 91-57. I got one name for you guys: Julian Champagny. 31 points, 7 rebounds, 7 steals. The man was on fire out there. Guy was just incredible. Other double-digit scorers for St. John's. Aaron Wheeler. I sound like a broken record. Aaron Wheeler, 16 points. Posh Alexander, 13 points. We're on fire, right? Our team is playing really hot. Aaron Wheeler is a huge part of that. And obviously Posh and Julian, as expected, are the leaders of that crew.
We have our big three.
Those are our big three. We were looking for it. We thought it might be Wusu when we talked about it at the beginning of the season. We thought it might be Mathis. Nope. Aaron Wheeler comes in from conference play, started conference play, and has just been absolute fire. But we did something else better. 11 players for us scored in this game. Not only the 5 starters, obviously, but 11 scorers total. That's incredible. To have 11 players who put points on the board is extraordinarily hard. And obviously, Mike Anderson's philosophy plays into that, right? A lot of guys get in, a lot of fresh legs. To have 11 people score takes a lot of hard work, and it's a large reason why we won the game. For Butler, Jaden Taylor, the only double-digit scorer, he had 19, a good game for him. But again, a great overall performance for us. 64% from the field, 50% from three, 90% from the free throw line. We held them to 34% from the field. We out-rebounded them, 35-21. We did lose the turnover battle, and it was a bad game for us in turnovers. We turned the ball over 16 times. We only turned them over 14 times. Bad turnover game for us. But again, when you win 91-57, it happens, right? You get a little sloppy at the end of the game.
For sure.
And that's the way it goes. Again, I know it sounds like a little repeat, but we got the win we needed here. A shot in the arm, just like the win we needed against Georgetown, right? Countless times in St. John's past, you expect it. This is a game we need to win. This is a game we should win, no problem, and we blow it, right? Happened to us last year at DePaul. Cost us going to the NCAA tournament. Another game we stepped in, we handled our business. And you know what? It's great to see. All right, Nick, what's your main takeaway from this game?
My main takeaway is just that everything was going our way. On like multiple times, we would, shoot a three, it would rattle around, and it would get kicked out to one of our guys who happened to be there. A lot of times, especially, over the years, and especially a lot of times against Villanova in particular, funny enough, but like it always gets kicked around, and it turns out like, it gets to somebody that's right wide open on the three. And that's pretty much my main takeaway, that it was just everything was working for us. Like balls were getting like kicked around, they would come to our guys, everything was going our way. And also just the crowd in general. It was a great crowd in Carnesecca. I think this might have been the first game I was there this season, and it was loud. It got loud at some points.
It did. It was a good crowd for a tough time. 5 o'clock on a Friday.
Yeah, 5 o'clock on a Friday is a rough hour.
I mean, I understand with the makeup, but it was tough. But I got to tell you, I thought it was maybe a little empty. It was pretty packed,
packed house.
and it was loud. I mean, luckily when we're playing well, it was obviously pretty loud. But to your point about things going our way, how many times do we see them hit a 3-pointer at the buzzer? And this time it was us. We get a turnover,
Right.
and then Posh plays
banging
it
it.
perfectly, takes the correct turn steps, releases it right at the right time,
Yeah.
makes the three. Crowd went crazy.
Released
so
with
to your point, that
0.1
was,
seconds.
yeah.
It was beautiful.
It was great. Oh, it was a beautiful
great.
shot.
That's how you knew it was our day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
to
you
tell
can
you the
feel
truth,
it.
when things like that go your way, you can just feel. And obviously, I mean, we played extraordinarily well.
We
So
did.
That,
All
that,
around,
that
we played
was also, I
extraordinarily
mean,
well. Yeah.
we played well, and everything was going our way, which helps, right? When everything's going your way, you play better, and that's what happened here. Tim, what's your takeaway from this game?
Mine is that Bo Hodges was not part of this game, and Julian took full advantage of that.
Right? He missed the game because of injury.
Yep. Instead of having the guy that beat us up on threes last time, Julian just came in and beat them up, 31 points, and he did it right in front of his brother Justin, who was at the game.
Yeah, nice to see him on the side.
Yeah, he got a nice moment at the end of the game with it looked like Justin's son, and ran on the court with him. It was really nice. Rasheem Dunn was also at this game too.
Oh, nice.
Nice to see former St. John's players at the game as well.
It's always nice to have him come back.
Yeah.
I think I heard something that Justin told Julian, go get 30 tonight. And he did. He got 31.
That's
not
pretty
only,
awesome.
Not only did he have 30, he also had 7 rebounds,
7
steals, 3 assists, and 1 big block.
Yeah.
So.
No.
He had a great game. I mean, when Julian Champagny plays to the level at which he can play, it's really something to watch. Craig, what's your takeaway?
Well, playing off of that, I just think the emergence of now our big three, now that Posh is back and fully healthy, between Champagny and Posh and Aaron Wheeler, with those 3 guys, if those 3 guys on a nightly basis, if they play up to their caliber, we can be dangerous. We can give teams trouble because now we have the 3 guys that can keep us scoring, and then we just need one other guy, to come up and make some plays. I just want to look at one thing specifically. Like, look, we've talked about Aaron Wheeler, all the time because his renaissance has been huge for us. It has really turned this team around.
Absolutely.
Just some numbers that I looked up, that I saw, in terms of his non-conference to conference split, which is just unbelievable, the difference. And we all know it, but it's sometimes like to see it is just, it's insane. He was averaging 4.5 points a game, and now he's averaging 14. He was shooting 45% from the field, and now he's shooting 49% of the field, 29% from 3, 41% from 3 now in conference play.
That's huge.
And he's 53 from the free throw line. Now he's 76.
I mean, amazing.
Just a completely turnaround. Just an absolute.
And listen,
Turnaround.
I think part of that is being a transfer, right? I mean, you got to get used to playing with the teammates. You got to get used to playing in a new conference, particularly a guy like him who played at a high level at Purdue. So, it's great to see that he's worked it out because he is a phenomenal player
He is.
for us. And he has been that boost we've absolutely needed. After, a bit of a rocky start and a bit of an up-down, he's kept us going, particularly if we've missed Posh or Julian. He's, been there constantly to keep us going and be that third member of that big three for us.
Plus, I love it for him because he grew up a St. John's fan, so that makes it happy.
Yeah.
It makes me happy
Yeah.
that he did it. He's going to do it for the team he rooted for growing up.
He stepped up when we needed him.
Absolutely.
Absolute most.
Absolutely.
I'm sure he's loving it, and it is great to see.
Could you
And
imagine?
plus having-
Could you imagine if he was still on Purdue? How good that would be.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Well, Purdue runs a slower offense, so he wouldn't flourish.
he wouldn't
I mean,
flourish.
he didn't get used there very well. That he wasn't utilized. He didn't get as many minutes. And I think part of that is to your point, Tim. They don't play the same kind of offense, and he didn't thrive in the system they had, which he recognized, and his family recognized, which is why he made the switch, and it's worked out perfectly for him.
I think one other part of the big three that we have to talk about is Posh Alexander being back at full strength. He
Right.
had 13 points, 10 assists. We can't let that go unforeseen.
Double-double.
Double for him. And
Hit it through.
look, Julian is the heart of the team, but Posh is the motor. And if Posh just makes everything go, and with Posh back, it just changes the whole dynamic of our team. We're much harder to guard. We're just much better when he's there.
He's feared by
Absolutely.
other teams.
He is.
Like they get
Yeah.
rattled always. Like you
Yeah.
can see it.
He's
'Cause
the
they're like-
leader for sure of our team. When Posh, like, listen, as goes Julian, so goes our team.
Yes.
But with Posh out there, we could be in any game.
Well, also Pasha's mid-range shot has really flourished lately,
Yeah.
and he completely has screwed everyone over, thinking, "Oh, he'll just drive. He'll drive and kick. He'll drive and kick."
Right, but he doesn't anymore.
All of a sudden, he hits the mid-range, and now you're standing there looking like an idiot.
Yeah, I like when he's like when he has the ball and he's pivoting with his 1 foot and then he just turns real quick and shoot. He's done that a couple times and it's gone in a bunch of times.
No, I think having Posh back at full strength is going to be huge for us down the stretch.
It was a huge victory for us on Friday against Butler. Brings us to 15-11 on the year, 7-8 in conference, heading in the right direction. All right, let's move on now to our interview with Matt from the dance team. Matt, great to have you on. Thanks for coming.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Obviously, you're a large part of going to a St. John's game because you guys perform every, in between every timeout. But I feel like a lot of people don't really know you that much. I mean, I get to see you dance spectacularly, but what made you go to St. John's and give us a little bit of your background?
So I am from Long Island, New York, like more specifically Suffolk County, Holbrook. And honestly, when I tell people the reason why I chose St. John's, it's like the craziest thing. They weren't even on my radar 5 years ago. And they waived my application fee to apply. So I said, you know what, let me just apply, see like what it's about. I applied, I got in, and I was like, all right, let me go take a tour of the school. And as soon as I stepped foot on the campus, I knew that this was the place for me. It was just the perfect amount of green in a city setting. So like when I told people that, they're like, what does that even mean? I'm like, I love all the trees, I love the flowers, I love the green, like everything. But then you walk outside of the campus and it's like cars going 70 miles per hour. And like, it's just the perfect like juxtaposition of like what is going on. And so what I'm doing now is I'm in my 5th year. I'm getting my master's in special education, and I'm an elementary school teacher working full time. And then I go to class at night or practice at night. So I work in Bayville. I love my kids. I work in a K-2 building. So I'm always with the young ones.
All right.
And I'll hopefully get my own classroom following this year. So I'm a permanent sub. I like float around. I go to different classrooms each day, but I'm in the same school every day.
Good luck with that, Matt. My wife is a children with autism school teacher, grade 3 through 5.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, you're a busy guy, though. I mean,
Very busy.
you got full time plus dance plus class. So, I mean, obviously, teaching a passion for you, or heading out to doing that. Do you see yourself after graduating doing anything that involves dance, or, as a hobby, maybe?
Yeah. So I've worked at a dance studio too on top of it. I'm like one of the busiest people, like, and
Sounds like it.
I love how busy I keep myself. It keeps me occupied. It keeps me going. So I've worked at a dance studio since I was in high school, and I still work there. And I'll continue to keep working there too. And then on top of that, I also work with local dance teams. I choreograph for them, work with them on their technique, and I do other things. I'm actually heading down to Florida with a bunch of my teams next week because they're competing again. So I'm so excited for them. And then hopefully once this is all over, I'll get to be a coach. Like that's the main goal, is to one day coach, which would be amazing.
That's awesome. I mean, obviously it's a passion for you. So when did you get started with dance? How did you get into it? Is the St. John's dance team something you wanted to do right away after you decided to go to St. John's, or is it something that just came about?
So I started dance when I was 4, which,
Wow.
believe it or not, is kind of late for a dancer to start. So I started when I was 4, and it only was because I saw my sister dance for how many years, and I'm very close with my sister. And I tried all the sports. I did soccer, I did t-ball, I did everything.
You were busy back then too.
Busy back then, and it was not for me. Like I was like picking flowers, like just I was not interested. And I kept saying, like, when my mom would drive to dance for my sister, I would say, like, I really want to dance, I really want to try. And my mom was like, you know what, sure, like let's just put you in and let's see how it goes. And ever since then I dropped everything else, and that's the only thing I focused on. I would go to dance Monday through Thursday, like 5 to 9, since I was like 5. So that's like taken over my life for how many years. So it's kind of crazy to think that after this year it will be over, because this is my 17th or 18th year of dance, because I'm 23. So my 17th year of dance.
Wow.
So just to go for how many years, for how many hours a day, like to then it being over is kind of crazy. But that's like how it goes. But when I came to St. John's, it was right. I knew that they had won, because I'm now like dating myself. Like I've been here for 5 years. But when they won in 2016, I knew that they won because I always had followed college dance. And when you're growing up, like the college dance team championship is like the Olympics for us. Like we watch it, like when you're a kid, like that's what you watch.
Okay.
And I knew that they had won in 2016. And I was like, oh, like they're good. Like I would love to be on that team. And then when I applied here and I got in, I was like, I emailed Christine right away, who's the coach, and like in October, and she still laughs. Like October, I was like, "Hi, like my name is Matthew Kirschenheiter. I would love to be a part of the dance team." And like she's like, "Okay, it's literally October. Like auditions are in May. Like slow your roll, kind of a thing." And then ever since then, I just knew that this was the place for me.
Well, you've certainly done it successfully. You're a 6-time national champion, right?
Yes.
So give us a little bit about how that works, how the national championships work, and how the process works, because I know there's different categories, if I remember correctly. And so just give us a little breakdown of that.
Yeah. So I've won 6 times. I've won 4 in high school, 4 in high school, and 2 in college.
Okay.
So in high school, I won a national championship in small jazz twice. I've won small varsity hip hop once and small varsity team performance once.
Okay.
And then in college, I won Division I hip hop, and I won Division I game day. So nationals is like what I said before, like the Olympics for us. Like you go down there and it is like game on. And ever since high school, it's the same exact way. Like you show up and you're going against like the best of the best. And it is just the most intense, but the most emotional, like the most crazy weekend of your life every year. But like the lead up to it is some of my favorite times. Like it's some of the greatest memories. Like we're here, I come back 2 days after Christmas, and I go every day for about 8 hours just for 2 minutes. And like if you think about it, like the craziness that you put into for 2 minutes on a stage, for someone to say like, oh, I really liked this, or like, oh, I really didn't like this. Like the
Right.
people forget how subjective that dance is. Like it's not basketball where you get the ball in the hoop. Like it's like, oh, I really didn't like this. Like you're gonna get third. Like, or oh wow, that was amazing. Like you won. Like that's what but that's what I love about dance. But also drives me crazy is that it is so subjective, and that you can be so outrageous and creative and different, and it be rewarded. Like when we won 2 years ago, like that was the most out of the box routine that has ever like hit the floor, and people will still say like, when I like finished this year at nationals, like, and I posted on Instagram, like the amount of people that I didn't even know that were commenting like, thank you so much, like you have left such an impact, like for how many years to come. Like that's what it's all about. Like I
That's
always say,
awesome.
it's the most rewarding feeling. Like I always say, like you could take away my medals, you could take away my jackets, my ring, you could take away anything, but you can never take away how somebody feels or how you
Mhm.
make somebody feels. And like that's how I teach. Like words can't go back in. It's like toothpaste kind of a thing, and it's the same thing with feelings. Like that's the most rewarding feeling, and that's like when I love going to the garden, or I love going just walking outside after a game, and like for a kid or someone that like is my age or something to say like, like that was amazing, like what you did, like that to me is the most rewarding feeling, because there'll be like 7 people that laugh or don't get it, but if you reached one person and you were able to connect with them, like that to me goes such a long way. And those are like the memories that I hold more than winning 6 times. Like I'd rather connect with someone and for them to tell me like, wow, like what you did just meant the world to me. Like that to me is worth more than a ring.
That is really really great to be able to reach out and do that. So, you spoke about you won game day and you won hip hop. Which performance was your favorite?
Oh, hip hop for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
It,
enjoyed that one. I sort of remember it. They're all very great, so it's hard
yeah.
to decipher them. But
Oh, it was just the most amazing thing. We were 5th going into finals, and they only took 7. So we were like
oh wow,
honestly on the cusp of like not even making it. And it wasn't as good as it could have been, but we didn't think we were going to be in 5th. And again, this is when it comes down to being subjective. Like these set of judges were like, oh, we didn't like this, we didn't like that. And then finals day, to perform it, we were like, you know what? Like, who cares? Like, this dance means so much more. It had such a deeper meaning to so many of us. So we were like, who cares? Like, how we place, like, as long as we reach somebody and we connect with someone, it's all that matters. And then I'll never forget, like, running off stage and just like, people that didn't know us were crying. Like the energy in that room that morning was like second to none. Like
that's
I
wild.
will always remember that. And like we were done dancing at like 10 o'clock, and then we had to wait until like 6 or 7 to
Oh
find out
wow.
who won. But like I just remember like each time they were calling up like 5th place, 4th place, and we just kept getting excited because we were like, oh, like we moved up, like we moved up.
Right, right.
And then to like win like that, I thought I was having a heart attack. Like I out of body.
Understandably, I mean that's got
Yeah.
to be an incredible feeling.
Oh my god, it was amazing.
So you spoke a little bit about coming out for game days. Do you have a preference of dancing at Madison Square Garden or Carnesecca? Which one's kind of more exciting? Which one do you like better?
So that's a tricky one. I like both. I'll give you a pageant answer. I like both for different reasons.
Okay.
So I love the historic, like being a part of like the history of Madison Square Garden. That like when I tell my students that I dance at Madison Square Garden, they are like, holy moly, like you are like the coolest person. And it's just like it is really an amazing feeling getting on the court, like, and
Mhm.
knowing what's been on that court before, and then I'm just like a small speck of that. Like, I think that aspect of it is amazing, and I love getting to like look out into the crowd, and it's just filled. Like, it's just amazing. But I love the way that Carnesecca feels when it's crowded and everyone is just like almost on top of you.
Yeah.
Love that feeling because if it's just more homey. So I love both for different reasons.
What's your typical game day like? And is it different from Carnesecca to Madison Square Garden?
That's a good question. So Carnesecca games, we usually get here about an hour and a half before. We'll warm up. We'll warm up like all the dances that we're gonna do for the day, get all our sidelines together, get all our palm lines together. Um, the girls will fix their makeup, they'll do everything like that. We'll get our uniforms on. It's kind of like it's like it's very like schedulized now that like we've done it for so many. And then game day lasts about like a Carnesecca game day lasts about like 3.5 hours with like the prep and the game in itself. Madison Square Garden games are very long process. Especially because I do live on Long Island now. So what I do is I take the train in. So I'll take the train in. We'll usually meet about 2 hours earlier, just because sometimes the garden gets a little crazy with what's going on in the hallways in the basement of like, it's really cool being down there because it's like the Ranger stuff is over here, the Knicks stuff is over here, we're in here, and it's just a lot going on. But like the same thing, we'll get ready, we'll do everything, and then we'll get ready for the court, and then we perform, and then it's pretty much over. But the game days itself are very like leading up to it. It's very almost like let's go, let's go, let's go. And then when the game is happening, you're just like in the moment, and then it's over. So it goes by fast. I don't know if I answered that well, but
No, I mean, I think you laid it out perfect. You got a good vision of the day. So you had, just going back to Madison Square Garden a little bit, you had the biggest standing ovation for senior day this year in the Garden. That had to be a pretty awesome feeling. I know I felt like it was awesome for you and well deserved. What was that moment like for you?
I was like trying so hard not to cry because like that moment was just, it proved that all my hard work has paid off over the past couple of years. And like you said, like I've been here for 5 years, but you never know like how much you've done or how much you've meant to people. And to feel like how many people like the love in the room and like how many people were so like happy and sad and like were cheering for me. It was truly, that was a really nice moment. And to have my mom and my dad there to experience that too. And for them to kind of not understand, but like be a part of it too and see like what I saw was truly amazing.
We had people in the crowd asking if we could get you a 60-year of eligibility to come back for another year.
Oh
We're
my
hoping.
I wish.
So you also had the awesome honor of walking in the Thanksgiving Day parade, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. What was that day like?
Oh, that was by far the coolest thing I've ever done on the team. And I've done like really cool things with the team. That by far was like the best day ever. And it's just like being a part of that tradition, like that's been going on for 95 years I don't even remember if it was 95 or 97. Like to be a part of it was the coolest thing. And it's nothing like what you see on television. And when I told people that, they were like, what do you mean? And I'm like, okay, well, first off, you ride on the float for like 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden it starts to slow down. And then you just slowly start to turn. And then there's just TVs everywhere. Like Sephora is across the street, Foot Locker's across the street. There's a giant TV. You see Hoda and Jenna sitting right there, Al Roker's right there. And then all of a sudden you go like 70 miles per hour, you like land, and then you're dancing and you're seeing yourself on the TV. So like one TV is like you, one TV is like, it was Ty Verdes, his lyrics. Then another TV was like what Hoda and Jenna were gonna say. And then it's like everyone, and there's people everywhere. It was done like this. It's the craziest thing, but it was the coolest thing that I've ever done. And I wish that I could do it like again, like 6 more times.
It sounds like a lot, but it sounds awesome. I mean, I have to imagine it's having seen the St. Day parade in person, it's cool, but being in it has to be, I mean, something else.
Oh yeah. I've watched it like every year I felt like as a kid, and then to be a part of it was like amazing. And like you get to meet like behind me was like Andy Grammer, and like it's just the coolest thing. Like everyone is just so excited and so nice, and like it was just really amazing.
So what's the dance recruiting process like? Is there a recruiting process, and kind of how does that work?
So we're actually moving more towards a recruitment-based style of dance, because now what's really awesome is that a lot of the Big Ten schools, which is like your Minnesota, Ohio State, Tennessee, which are like the powerhouses in D1A dance, started to recruit. And then it's basically starting to trickle down to all of us, which I find to be really awesome, because you're getting to meet dancers that are fully committed to your program and want to be a part of your program. So what we do and what we're doing this year is, if you're interested, you have to submit a first round video to us, and we will review your video. And there has to be required skills like turns, tricks, jumps, like the whole thing. You have to record yourself doing solos, like everything into one video. If you pass the first round, You'll then move on to an interview, which all of the coaches will be on and the prospective dancer, where they'll be asked questions. We'll get to know them as a person and like what they do for the community and all that stuff. And then if they make it past that round, then they'll be invited to an in-person audition, which happens before decision date. So then if they make the team, which most of the time, if they do, will then sway their decision to then commit to St. John's.
Okay. So is there
Wow.
that? I mean,
That's a very in-depth process. That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's really great because this year we actually have a large number of dancers that are interested in our program. So we're really excited to see the talent that we get next year.
Makes sense. You guys obviously kill it, like we talked about before. So getting good talent is not surprising for you guys.
So are there scholarships for dance? Is that part of the commitment or recruiting process or?
So we don't give out like full scholarships as a freshman, but then every year after your rookie year, if you do stay on the team, you do get a type of athletic grant.
Okay, cool.
That follows you through your years at school.
It's good. I mean, that's certainly deserved. We should, probably get more money there because you guys are so successful and just great,
Put in millions of hours of time.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So now that you're so busy and you've stepped back from being the captain of the team, who's taking over? And then unfortunately, once you're gone, what direction what direction is this team going to go? How can they keep up to your level of, just incredibleness?
Well, thank you. They are ready. They are definitely ready. I have taken a huge step back this year. I know it doesn't seem like it when we go out into a court setting, but they have been leading the rising seniors have been leading this team for a very long time. They were freshmen when we won on the team, so they know what it takes to win a national championship, and they're hungry to win another one, and I know that they can, and they will all rise to the occasion. They're all so dedicated and so ready to be better dancers themselves, and it's only getting better as the younger classes are coming in, and that's what we like to see because now they're juniors, and the younger kids, one was the sophomores now had a COVID year, and they're hungry to get back out there and win, and the freshmen know what it takes to win, and they're ready, and it's only going to go upward. I know that they have it in them, and it's time for them to fly. I'm old. I've been here for 5 years. I've done my time. It's now time for them to fly.
Well, I know we'll certainly miss you out there. In the half times and in between timeouts and just the excitement you bring to the St. John's game experience.
Thank you. It's something that I'll miss forever. It was the best 5 years of my life. That's what I say all the time.
Well, thanks for coming on with us. We really appreciate you coming on and talking with us, and hope you for great success going forward with teaching and dance and the 19 other things you spend your time doing.
I know, I gotta slow down. I need to prioritize and start saying no to things, but I just can't.
Oh, fair enough. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Matt. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
We'll see you two more times, right? 2 more home games?
Tomorrow and March 2nd.
Sounds good. We'll see you there.
We want to thank Matt for taking the time and coming on the podcast with us. If you've been to a St. John's game in the past few years, Matt is a huge part of the St. John's basketball experience. Just from the dance team when they come out, it's going to be a great routine and it's really going to get the crowd pumped, which is why he got the largest applause at senior day this year.
It's electric when the dance team comes
absolutely
out. I mean, you can feel the crowd gets hyped always. Everyone gets up and they're great. I mean honestly,
they do such a great job, and Matt's such an integral part of that team.
It makes me feel bad when I see other teams' dance teams.
Yeah,
it does. All right, let's get back into some basketball now. Set the stage here as we're heading in to, unfortunately, our final 2 weeks of St. John's basketball regular season. After that Butler win, we currently sit at 15-11, 7-8 in conference. Now, at 7-8 in conference, we're sort of in a tie between the 6th and the 8th spot. Xavier is 7-8 in conference. Seton Hall is 7-8 in conference. We're 7-8 in conference. Below us is Georgetown, who's 0-15, DePaul, who's 3-13, and Butler, who's 6-11. But the top 8 teams of the Big East are Providence leads the way at 12-2, Villanova 14-3 as the 2 seed. UConn is 10-5, and Creighton are 10-5. That's the 3-4. Then Marquette stands alone at 9-7, and then it's the 3 teams I just talked about: Xavier, Seton Hall, and St. John. So looking at it right now, we'd be in the 8th spot. In the 8th spot, you're in that 8-9 matchup at 4:30 on Wednesday, which is a crappy matchup. I mean, it's Butler, who we just played great against, except if you win, you got to play at noon the next day against the 1 seed, which in this case would be Providence. If you could get up, you get up to the 7 seed, you end up playing the 10 seed, which pretty good matchup. You're playing DePaul. I mean,
7 p.m.
And 7 p.m. at night. They're a good team, which is a little harder than playing Butler, I think, personally. But you do get the benefit of playing the 2 seed. Now, here the 2 seed's Villanova, so you may not necessarily want to get there. The number you really want to get up to if you're in this 6 through 8 category, I think, is the 6 seed.
Sure, we want to be the 6.
You end up playing 11, so you end up playing Georgetown, which is the easiest game. But you're also in that you're playing that third matchup, which right now is looking like it's going to be UConn. Which after our 2 close games with UConn, I think we kind of feel, at least I feel, we're due for a win there. So if we could get it in there, that would be great. Now that's not to say we're locked in this spot, by the way. We're not locked into 6 or 8. Currently, as it sits with the amount of games left and where people are, we could get it as high as 4th if we were to win out and Creighton were to lose out and some shifting along the way.
And we do have Creighton and Marquette who are ahead of us on the standings. We play them. So we have a little bit of chance to control our destiny there. We're tied with Xavier. So right there, if we were to beat Xavier, that puts us a strong leg up at least for the 6th spot, because we then hold the tiebreaker over them. So we would really just have to tie them in order to take that.
Right.
that
Now
seed.
remember, the top 5 seeds get a bye to Thursday, right? So it's the 1 seed waits until the winner of the 8-9, 4 plays 5, 2 awaits the winner of 7-10, and then 3 awaits the winner of 6-11.
It's a huge stretch run for us here. I mean,
absolutely
a lot to
huge.
be decided, a lot left to happen. There's a lot of life left in the St. John's season here, so
Just
strap in.
looking at it right now, though, what do you guys think is our best? I guess 6 is probably our best.
6 is
the
the
best spot we're
That's
looking
the best
for, right?
path of where we
Yeah.
are right now.
Yeah, realistically, it's probably going to
Honestly.
be 5 or 6.
I mean, we're most likely we would end up 5 or 6. Ending up 5 would be great.
5 is if I was.
I mean, because then you get
we
the
would
extra,
win out, and
you
then
get
we
the
would have a
extra
little.
day.
The only
couple things
problem,
happen for us.
to be honest, I'd rather be 6. Frankly, here's why:
Get the extra win.
we get the extra
That's
win, which is
true.
good for our
Help us for the
resume.
NCAA.
Although you're downside in Georgetown, but to be honest, if we don't beat Georgetown there anyway, we're not going to go. So
True.
I think that, but I think you avoid Providence and Nova until at least
The
the
championship.
championship. And
That's, no. You would play Villanova in the semifinals because they're 2 seed.
correct. I'm sorry.
But you
Well,
would
Nova and Providence are not locked in.
they're not. No, I'm sorry.
They're not locked in the
Currently
1, 2.
sitting, it's
Yeah,
Villanova,
yeah.
the
But
2
it
seed.
could be, but my point is, you would avoid them till Friday.
They actually Providence and Villanova play on the 1st.
Yeah, no,
March 1st.
they're not locked in. That's still a battle. But
Wow.
I'm just looking at it as it sits now. You're right, Craig. That's
That's why
actually
I
a
think
really good point.
I think the
Not
6
only
is better.
that, we've struggled in the Big East tournament. It would be nice to get a win, right? All of a sudden, your first tournament Big East game, you beat Georgetown. Good, we got our footing back. We're in Madison Square Garden. All right, let's play for real now. Take on the 3 seed, and you get a win. All of a sudden, we got that momentum that we've kept building. Because there is a break. Remember, we play we play Saturday, March 5th, and then we don't play again until Wednesday when the tournament starts, which is the 9th. So there is a little bit of a break, which is not untypical for the week, but we do have a bit of a stretch of back-to-back games here. So we're going to be hot playing quickly, and you don't want to cool off in that little gap.
Just something. I just want to note some things to watch out for. Providence plays Xavier and Creighton. They play Xavier, Creighton, and then they play Villanova. So, I mean, the last game is going to matter for the top end, who's 1-2.
Right.
But Xavier and Creighton is going to matter for us because that's who
For
we're
sure.
going to be fighting against for.
Seeding.
I mean, Creighton and UConn are one of those two is going to be the 3, and the other is probably going to end up being the 4, right? Because Creighton plays us, then they play Providence, then they play UConn, then they play Seton Hall, which also matters because Seton Hall is in the mix of people. So
That middle area is so packed. Like
Yeah.
I think UConn ends up pulling away and getting a 3, but from Creighton to us, which is 4 through 8, it could really end up anywhere. All right, let's look ahead into this week. Creighton 6:30 on Wednesday at Carnesecca Arena.
Whiteout game. It's gonna be a big game. Giving out white shirts. Everybody, make sure you wear white when you go there. We need to pack the crowd out. It's a huge game for us.
Yeah, I'm excited. Always love free shirts. And last time we got a free white shirt was last year when we beat them at home. Same thing.
Trying to repeat it.
Yep.
I like that. I like that strategy.
Love the whiteout.
Well, the last time out against Creighton did not go so well. 87-64 loss. Julian Champagny had 17 points in that game. Aaron Wheeler was kind of at the beginning of his getting hot streak. He had 16. Dylan Adewusu had 10 points, 8 assists, and 7 rebounds. A performance from him we haven't really seen repeated again. It'd be nice to get him back in the action. Creighton, Alex O'Connor killed us. He scored 28 points. Arthur Kalama also had 20 points. 2 killers for us. We got to make sure we shut those guys down. This time we were out rebounded by 19. We turned them over 19 times, which is great. We're going to have to hit that number again. But, wide open threes. We left them open for wide open threes. We got to do something better because, again, this game, for me, I see it as a must-win. If we win this game, that Marquette game at the end of the year, we get a little bit of a bounce back. Okay, if we happen to lose in Marquette, it's not the end of the world. If we lose this Creighton game, we have to win that Marquette game. So I think we're trading must-wins now for a must-win later, but I think this is a must-win game. It's at home. It's going to be a quad 2 opportunity, but it'll still be, a good resume builder. A win against Creighton is going to help us go towards the tournament. So, what do we have to do, guys, in order to make sure the same thing doesn't happen to us again?
I mean, last time out in Omaha was one of the low points of the season. We really did not look good from the beginning. Really, it was over early, but that was Omaha, and we know that Creighton plays better in Omaha, and it's a tough place to play. Now they come here, so we need to, like Vincent said, we need to play better. We need to cover them on the 3-point line. We left far too many wide open threes. We need to knock that off and cover them. Alex O'Connell, his status is questionable. He did leave the game, Creighton's last game, so I don't know if he's going to play or not. He may not.
Absolutely killed us last time.
Absolutely killed us last time.
We're going to have a recipe for him.
We got to figure out a plan, regardless of whether he's going to play or not.
Yeah, because if we can't just go and think it'll be the same business because he gave us the business last time.
I just also think it builds momentum, right? We beat Xavier, we beat Butler, we beat Creighton. All of a sudden, it's like, look, St. John's building something here. It really builds up.
Yeah, and I mean, we really have started building momentum, and we're getting hot, and we're starting to get the recognition for this team.
Yeah. Julian Champagny was named the Big East Player of the Week last week after his 31-point performance against Butler. Hey, if he continues that, I mean, we need to, like you said, Greg, this game is very important. Like, it'll really show whether we're serious about being in the tournament, like trying to be in the tournament or being a bubble team, or if we're just going to fold like we usually do.
And listen, Creighton's a team that actually, you wouldn't think that, but they actually line up with us pretty well in terms of stats. We blow them out of the water in terms of points per game. We average 73. They average 66. Our 3-point percentage is very similar. We average 33% from the 3-point line. Creighton averages 31. In terms of field goals, we both shoot 45% from the field. In rebounds, we're identical, 38 rebounds per game. They do turn the ball over more than us. They turn the ball over 14 times. We turn it over 12 times. They also have a minus 3.3 turnover margin. So, like, our eyes need to be, as big as plates going into this game, thinking we can turn these guys over a ton and turn those into points. The only number they really kind of kill us in is free throws, but pretty much everyone does that. 72% for them, 67% for us. That's the main difference between our teams. And the turnover margin, the minus 3.3 for them, we're plus 4. So, that's a number right there that we need to exploit that. We need that to be a major factor in this game.
In our last matchup, they had 19 more rebounds than we did. Kalkbrenner had 7 offensive rebounds just by himself. That's one of our things. We get beat up by these big, goofy, tall kids that are lanky. We can't allow that to happen. We have to make sure we don't allow the offensive rebounds specifically from him because that was a big outlet on letting them get consistent threes.
Hopefully we have a really loud, boisterous crowd there at Carnesecca. We really need this win, and we need the crowd to be in it.
It'll be a whiteout against Creighton on Wednesday, 6:30 at Carnesecca Arena. The other game this week will be on Sunday, 5 p.m. against DePaul. It's in Chicago. That game will be on FS1. Last time out, good win for us, 89-84. Julian Champagny had a spectacular game, 34 points. Dylan Adewusu, again, 17 points, 8 assists. Posh Alexander also had 16 points. If Dylan can have the kind of week against Creighton and DePaul that he had last time against Creighton and DePaul, and Aaron Wheeler and Posh Alexander and Julian Champagny do their stuff, we could be in for a great week. We'll have to see what happens. For DePaul, Freeman Liberty led DePaul with 24 points. Jalen Terry also had 14 in that previous matchup. They out-rebound us in that game, 44-40. We turned them over 16 times, which was great for us. DePaul shot 39% from three, though, which is a number we'd certainly like to drive down. Guys, we beat DePaul last time. It was a close game. It's going to be a tough one. DePaul is listen, they don't have a great record. They're 3-13 in conference. They're 12-14 overall. But they're a good team. They've got some good wins, and they know how to play well at home. What do we got to do in this game to make sure we come away with a victory?
I think a tough thing for them is Freeman Liberty. They're really their best player missed a bunch of games in the middle of the season, which really hurt them. And they're a different team when he's on the court. He'll be there when we play them on Sunday. Going into this game though, DePaul has lost 4 straight, but 3 of those games were by 3 points or less. So as Vincent said, they're right there. So this is, it's not necessarily the cupcake walkthrough we've thought of in DePaul in years past. It's gonna be a scrappy game, and it's a game we desperately need to come away with. It's not a game we can afford to lose.
The one other thing, it sounds like a broken record because it is our major factor is turnovers. We have a +4 turnover margin. Their turnover margin is negative. It's only -0.2, but still, that's a gap we're gonna have to exploit. Their rebounding is better than ours. They have a +3 rebound margin. We have a -0.5 or 0.5 rebound margin. Those numbers are important for us, and in a game that we might overlook, unfortunately, with the possibility of coming off of a great Creighton win, you don't want to get a letdown game here in Chicago.
I think one thing that is going to be a make or break in this game is going to be our free throw shooting. If we can continue the trend like we've been doing the past couple games and we shoot fantastic from the line, we're going to win this game pretty comfortably, I would say. But if we don't do well, it's going to hurt us like he always does.
We did see Mathis working on his free throws again, so it's always a nice look for him.
Good to see people working on free throws. That Mike Anderson practice that Nick was completely against worked out spectacularly. We've turned it around. Let's hope that continues on Sunday, 5 p.m. in Chicago on Fox Sports 1. All right, we're now going to move on to our new monthly segment featuring Marcus Hatten. We're going to do an in-depth look at a game from his time at St. John's. And we'll also take questions from our Twitter and Instagram followers. So be sure to submit your questions at #AskHatten, and we'll get those in as we record the segment. So you send it now, we'll keep it, and we'll make sure we hold on to them, and then we'll use them in our next segment with Marcus. All right. Hey, Marcus. Good to have you back on the show.
Thanks for having me again, guys. It's a pleasure to be back.
Cool. So we'll start with the Ask Hatten. So Choppin' Brave is the Twitter handle who asked, do you regret going back for your senior season rather than going into the draft?
No, at the time, I knew I wasn't physically and mentally ready to be an NBA player. So I thought that coming back for my senior year would give me a great advantage for going into becoming a pro that following summer. So, I mean, when you look at it now, what you see what the NBA has become, then yeah, because you see the NBA was younger. It was getting younger. It wasn't getting older. So if I could do it over just because of a potential, I would definitely would have left my junior year.
All right, yeah. I mean, I see what you're saying with the change in the NBA now from the time when you were there. Definitely things have trended in a different direction. So interesting to hear, though. I mean, we're glad you came back for your senior year for sure. As St. John's fans. So next question is M Presents asks, your favorite Johnny teammate.
Whew.
A little hard, put you on the spot.
Yeah, man, because I still have great relationships with a lot of those guys. Andre Stanley is the guy. Andre Stanley, Anthony Glover, Willie Shaw, and Kyle Custers is the ones I'm in contact with on a regular basis. Well, Andre Stanley, that's my guy, man. Like, we continued after basketball. We stayed close. We stayed in touch. And, when I come to New York, we always, we get together the most. So, Andre Stanley.
All right. Well, it's good to hear you still have strong relationships with the guys you played with,
Mm-hmm.
So Octagon Sport or at Octagon Sport asked, did you follow the Johnnies as a kid, and if you didn't, who did you root for?
I was always a Villanova Georgia Tech guy. I was in awe of Kenny Anderson. I was in awe of Kerry Kittles. So I just thought, those were my dream school. And funny that, how St. John's got in the picture when you think back, when I was a kid, I was watching Coming to America.
Okay.
And Coming to America, my dad was showing me like Coming to America. And I was like, oh, that's St. John's. And, fast forward, then you look at it like, wow. So this kind of maybe was the fate or, but, St. John's, man, just had a special place in my heart out of all the schools that I visit.
Who knew Coming to America could, bring in some St. John's love.
A
great movie. So the last question is Rody Coco asks, why did you wear number 1?
It's funny because in high school I wore 25, and then I thought, I always wanted to be the best player. So I thought, when I changed in college to number 1, I mean, in Tallahassee Junior College, I changed from 23 to 1. And I just always wanted to be the best, and that was I strive for. So that's what I wanted number 1 to represent. All
right. So speaking of your jersey, next week, big night, bobblehead, Marcus Hatten bobblehead giveaway, and replica jersey for the first, 1,000 students or something like that? Are you going to be there? You're going to be in Carnesecca for it?
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there. It's crazy that this will be my first game attending due to all the COVID restrictions and all the guidelines and stuff like that. But I definitely will be in the building come March 2nd.
Awesome. It'll be it'll be awesome. I'm sure it's going to be a great atmosphere and well-deserved acknowledgement from the school for sure.
Oh yeah, Manhattan is coming back to Queens,
That's
just
it.
to show appreciation, just be grateful for and thankful for being able to have the opportunity to play in front of those New York fans and it becoming like my second home, and those guys took me in like family, so it was an unbelievable experience.
Well, I know we're try to get the jersey retired, so this is a good step in that direction. We got a bobblehead, giveaway jerseys. Hopefully we're moving in the right direction.
Oh yeah. But like I said, man, a lot of people know my admiration for St. John's. I see a lot of great things. I love the direction that the university is going in as far as recruiting, getting back to being a national powerhouse. A lot of people don't understand that it's not an easy path. It's definitely a journey to get back to prominence in which way they were. They knew getting to prominence took a lot. It's just that now, we've been in a relatively a long time before we had a team that was really relevant to make some noise of being like Big East front runner or making some noise in the NCAA tournament. And I think, like I said, Mike Anderson is doing an amazing job. Mike Craig, the AD, is doing an amazing job. Those guys definitely get my support in any way I can help them.
Yeah, it's awesome. They have been doing a great job putting us in the right direction. So, all right. So now let's take a look. We've now had the questions. Now we'll go ahead. We'll take a look back at one of the great games you played in when you were at St. John's. So obviously, one of the most memorable games, the victory at the free throw line against Duke. So just to give everybody a sense of where things were, the Red Storm had just lost 7 of the last 9 overall, and were 1-5 in their last 6 home games. Mm-hmm. The game was tied at half, and obviously big meetup. It's Duke. It's been a rough stretch for you guys. What was that locker room like at halftime?
It was tense, because it was tense, and then we knew we had the opportunity to kind of change the narrative of our season. We were much better than people thought or saw. A lot of guys, sacrificed a lot to make, for the betterment of the team for those 2 years that I've been there, especially for me. Like, those guys welcomed me with open arms. A lot of those guys were New York guys, and me being a Baltimore guy coming in, But, I just thought, man, that halftime, man, it was something to create, a great opportunity that we had. And it was on us. All the hard work we put in all the season, all the sacrifices we made. And even though, like I said, at that time, we wasn't playing well. Like you said, we lost 7 out of the last 9 games. And to have an opportunity for everyone wants to be Duke University. For us to be in that position was the greatest opportunity. And, even still coming out at halftime, it didn't look like it was going to happen. because I think we was down like 8, 9, maybe even 10 points with the last 5 minutes or something like that, and then we kind of made a defensive stance in a run.
Yeah, so with 4:05 to go, you guys were down 71-60. And basically at that point, that's when you and Anthony Glover, you guys took over basically, and you went on a spectacular run. You and Anthony Glover combined scored all except for 1 point in the entire rest of the game from the 4:05 mark to the end. And you guys each had a 3-point, or in that time, Kyle Cuff made one free throw with 1:30 left to make it 71-70. And after that, you got the ball. You had a jumper with 40 seconds left that you missed. Glover got the rebound and dished it to you, took the shot, got fouled. Now you're at the free throw line, no time on the clock. It's a 1-point game. What's going through your head?
It was like the perfect ending to a movie. It was something each kid dream of. Seize the moment. I went over this a million times in my grandmother's house. No time on the clock. You at the free throw line, everybody's going crazy, national TV. So I already went through it.
Right.
And I just wanted to calm myself down, take a deep breath. Because, in those moments, like, things get tense, your heart start pumping, your adrenaline get to pumping, and you get nervous and things like that. I can honestly say, like, I wasn't nervous at all. Just wanted to make sure I was breathing and find that rhythm and, do what I normally do. Like, step up to those moments. I always predicated myself on being big in those moments. I don't care how bad I played for 39 minutes, but that 1 minute of basketball that, I decided to play good, it was going to be a great outcome. So it wasn't no pressure being at that free throw line. It was just a moment of really letting, creating the image once you make the shot. Because those are the moments where people capture, okay, you watch the ball go in, everybody's watching, and then let me see how he's reacting once he make the shot. So, it was just one of those moments.
Well, you made the shots. You won the game. 29 points for you in that game. It was a spectacular performance by you. Great turnaround for that team. And it turned the season around. It
Absolutely.
really did. From that point on, you had a great end to the season. And it really is one of the most memorable games from your time at St. John's, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, it's 20 years later, damn near 20 years later, and it's still vivid and relevant to a lot of people, and I'm not just talking about St. John's guys, 15 years of playing in Europe, a lot of those guys, those younger guys come to me, man, I used to watch you growing up playing at St. John's, man. Whew, you was good. And, I remember the Duke game, So you get your staple in life or whatever you choose, and, you enjoy it. You embrace it because you work hard for it.
Well, it was awesome to watch from my perspective. Tim, what do you got?
Yeah. So during that game, when after the 2 missed jump shots, Ewing's bringing the ball down, you're guarding him up. What's going through your mind at that point?
Make a play. Don't be afraid to make a play. Like I say, in those moments, you can't make yourself small. You got to come up big. So a lot of those times it takes risk. Big risk, big reward. You know how it goes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I thought, like I said, we was tied up. We were right there, and this was a moment to seize and change our season, which it did. We actually went on after we won that game. Went on to play well, even in the Big East tournament. Those games, and then I think we lost to Boston College by 1 point. We controlled that game most of the game. But man, I just want to say this, man. Anthony Glover, man, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. Even if before I got there, and I think that 2000 team that actually won the Big East championship, he was the best player. I think he finished with close to 30 points or something like that, and he missed like 1 or 2 shots. And I just want let know, like, that's one of the guys I admire. Family man, did everything the right way, did what he was asked, came up big when he needed to, and was amazing, man.
He definitely is a guy who doesn't get enough recognition.
Yeah.
He really was. I mean, he first of all, you guys together played so well, but on his own, he was, before you got there, he was, the kind of the main guy, and he put that team in a place where once you came in, you guys could really get things going.
Absolutely. The difference, he played with different leaders, different type of leaders. Eric Barkley was probably more vocal than I was. I was more lead by example. If you guys don't see what I'm doing, then, here it is. Those teams that he had with Eric Barkley, Boosie Thornton, LeVar Postel, Ron Artest, Reggie Jesse, my guy Grant, Tyrone Grant. You know, those were great teams. You know, they had 9-10 players, Chutney Gray. You know, all those guys, man, and to be able to be an elite team, you know, make it to the Elite Eight was a great feat. And I thought they brought back what Mullen and Jackson and then Walter Berry and those guys did for a split second. And
Yeah.
you know, it looked like we were going in the right direction. And then, you know, all the craziness happened, the madness happened, you know, once I left. And then D'Angelo Harris and them came and kind of turned the program back around.
Absolutely.
Dwight Hardy, DJ Kennedy, Eugene Lawrence and those guys, they kind of turned the program around.
It has bounced back a lot. And you know, that D'Angelo team did a lot, you know, kind of after you, that's kind of the team that I think certainly brought St. John's heading in the right direction. And now it's gone even further under Mike Anderson and Mike Craig for sure.
Absolutely. And not to negate anything Chris Mullen, you know, did or for that school. At the, you know, to the tail end, he had a really good team when he had Pons, Shamari, Justin, Marvin Clark, and those guys. I thought they were a really good team. But I just thought the uncertainty of Mullen's future kind of, you know, didn't have guys understanding like what was next. I didn't know, like a lot of those guys didn't know who Mike Anderson was or how they were fitting his role, you know, how they were fitting in on his toe. So I think that was kind of a little setback. But then Mike, like I said, Mike Anderson stepped up, Big East Coach of the Year last year. Bumpy road this year. I think they, you know, they have the opportunity to do what we did, turn their season around with these next couple of games and make some noise in the Big East and maybe snatch a spot in tournament.
Absolutely. I mean, it has been an up and down season for sure. You know, it was in the non-conference looked pretty good. We lost a few games, you know, Kansas, Indiana, but you know, then conference play started and there's a lot of hope and it kind of went down, but you know, they've really picked it up and you're absolutely right. These next games are a huge stretch.
And here's my thing, like, you know, and I'm kind of fast forward, like thinking this me as a coach, like I'm not going into looking at it like that. I'm going to let our guys know, like we are going to win these games. These are games that, you know, if we want to be that type of team. Right. If you guys talking about you want to come to an elite program, then you guys got to do elite things. You know, it ain't about, it's no excuses, no complaining. You know, it's get it done. Because for all the things you guys can say, we didn't have this, you know, you guys still out there for 40 minutes. And that's, you know, me coming from a player, as being a player, you really got all the control because you're out there on the floor. Like, you know, guys don't understand, like, you know, if the coach take me out for turning the ball over, then I'm not going to turn the ball over.
Right.
If I don't make a shot, then I know I got to make a shot to stand up court. So it's always simple, but, you know, when you add all the little things in there, intensity get heightens and things like that. So guys get a little nervous. But I need to understand it's great to be nervous. It's a good thing to be nervous. That's normal.
Helps you play well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because once you make your first mistake, then you're okay. I know I can play out here with these guys, and you know your confidence start to build, and you know you go off of that. But you know, like I said, I watch Mike Anderson prepare for games and practice. They do an amazing job. They play hard. They compete in practice. So I think, you know, this year and leading into next year, man, I think it's going to be the turn for our program.
Definitely have some high hopes. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be good to talk to you a month from now and see where this team ended up, what happened, where we're at. So thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. Yeah, it's been great hearing about your game. Great talking to you. And, you know, see you next month.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me again, guys. I look forward to it, man. We can keep this up. I love it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yep. Great to have you on.
And hey, we'll see you next Wednesday.
We'll see you next Wednesday at the game.
Yeah.
There we did.
March 2nd, come out. Marcus Hatten bobblehead, Marcus Hatten jersey. Celebrate.
Manhattan is coming back to Queens.
That's it. Exactly.
We want to thank Marcus for coming out and taking the time to be with us. And it's going to be great to have him, you know, take a look in depth at these games. It's really cool to see it from his perspective, and I think it's cool, a really unique way to hear about these games. So
we're glad to really have Marcus as a friend of the pod, and he's been super helpful, and we love having him on. He's great to talk to, so we appreciate him, you know, spending time with us.
And if you are looking to get that Marcus Hatten throwback jersey, it's the first 1,000, but it's only students, so time to shave those beards.
That's it.
Get your fake student IDs.
Get young. Get young. Get a fake student ID. That's all you got to do.
I always love listening to when players like break down the plays when they happen to them. It always for me personally, it reminds me of when I was in college and I was a manager. Even though like I was on the other side, and it was always cool like even to talk to them after the game, like when I was right there to hear their perspective of it. It's always just cool to me.
Yeah.
It's certainly a unique view that you don't really get to hear all that often. All right, that'll do it for this episode. Power-packed episode. Thank you, Marcus. Thanks, Matt, for coming on. For Craig, Tim, and Nick, I'm Vincent. Go Johnnies. Keep chasing.